Good morning. It is Sunday morning, May 22nd, 2016, and I wanted to make a quick little video while I'm here at work because I just got asked the simplest question that I haven't been asked in a really long time. So, usually I don't work on Sundays, but sometimes I have a client who needs to come in on a Sunday. And Sundays for me, being the fact that I am LDS, it's time for me to reflect on the commitments I made to the church and where I want to see myself in regards to the church because of my sexuality. And I don't go to church. Most of you already know this because I have a fear of being excommunicated by a bishop who does not understand who I am and where I'm coming from, where my home ward where I grew up, those members have known me since birth, are more accepting of who I am. And as I was training my client, what I usually do is I try to put on upbeat church music so I'm still getting the spirit without overly offending anybody, because one, I can't stand the music that is played in most gyms because a lot of it is stupid pop, or sometimes it could be rap, depending on who is controlling the music up front or, you know, what day it is. And so most of the time when I train clients, I have my iPad and I have my mini speaker. And so I usually put on what I want when I'm training clients. But on Sundays, I try and put on church music. But I try and put on music that does not offend them, that's not too slow, but for me, I can still feel the spirit. And so usually I put on James the Mormon, just because he is that, I'm not a rapper, hip-hop feeling to his music, that the clients don't notice that it's sort of religious based, but not. They get the upbeat that they like when they work out, and I get my religious feeling, my church moments while I'm training. And as I was training my client, he's a 17-year-old junior in high school, and he asked about the music, and he goes, "I've never heard of this, who is this?" And you know, I started mentioning them, and they're like, "So tell me a little bit about being Mormon." And I found a way to express the church without overly, you know, proselyting the church, and I was able to just do a little bit of missionary work, and that's what made me create this video right now, because I regret not going on my mission. I've been wanting to go on my mission since I was at least 12 or 13 years old, and I had a ongoing contract with the military that in 2003, I was 21 years old, and I was going to have a break from the military to go on my mission, but what ended up happening was we ended up invading Afghanistan, and so I got stop-lost in Korea, which pushed me further back to even leave Korea to go to my next duty station, and it all kind of snowballed from there. And so I've never gone on my mission. So any time that I've been able to talk about the church, I do it in the best possible way I can. The majority of the questions most people get is polygamy. What is with you and polygamy? Why are the Mormons doing polygamy? And the truth be told is polygamy did exist in the Mormon church. I'm not gonna lie about that. But it wasn't for what polygamy is now in the polygamous break-off groups with Warren Jeffs, or I think there's a group called the Sunshine Church, I believe. And basically polygamy for us back during the time that we had it was basically a form of protection. If my husband died, I knew that I would be protected by someone else's husband. But there's a kicker. Let's say my best friend lost her husband. She has a couple small children, she doesn't work, but she needs protection. I would have to give permission to my husband to marry her and adopt her children for protection. There was no sexual activity involved. They had their own bedroom for the woman and her children, and it was mainly to protect her, to raise the children up right, so we can have more upstanding men within the church. Some took it beyond that extreme to where now we have more polygamists and they're on their own break-off group. So polygamous is definitely one part of the church. We're not very proud of that part, but every religion has it. And even in high school, when we ever hit that part in religion, that's where the history books are always false. And so I've always been able to convince my teachers to allow me to teach that portion of it, because I am Mormon. It is my religion, it is who I am. But there are other things that people just don't quite understand about being Mormon. And a lot of the times they compare us to the Amish or to strict Orthodox Jews, which in actuality I can see where they get that stereotype. It's because Mormons don't drink. They don't drink alcohol, they don't drink caffeine. There's no tobacco in our systems. Tattoos are forbidden, but now the church is growing. They are starting to realize that it's not really what's on the outside that matters, it's what's on the inside. Although I was raised to believe that your body is a temple and God created it this way, and there should be nothing on your temple, which also would indicate no piercings, but a lot of Mormons have piercings too. So having tattoos is still sort of forbidden, but I'm not going to be punished because I have my tattoos. Because a lot of converts to the church have tattoos. And so by saying tattoos are forbidden, you're basically telling converts, we love you to join the church, but you can't because you have tattoos. And the church is slowly starting to realize that tattoos are not really such a bad thing. Another question I always got being Mormon was, how many wives does my dad have? Which I always joked about. I used to make up a little fib and say, oh yeah, I have, my dad has 5 wives, but I only have 1 mom, which was untrue. Or we all sleep in the same bed. Or, there was just so many craziness, and there's so many people who try and push down the church. But here's what I've learned, because even with my own sexuality, I've left the church before, but it was mainly to figure out how I can be both LDS, which is a short term for Latter-day Saint for Mormon, and how to still technically be me. And the one aspect I've always came back to was the church is family. Regardless of where you are in the world, if you meet another LDS member, another church member, you are automatically family. We're always going to be there for each other. We're always going to, do what we can to help you. And the church has this saying that families can be together forever. Catholic churches are till death do you part, where the Mormons were all about for all time and eternity. So, that's a little bit of a backstory on religion for today. If you have any questions, call me, text me, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, you name it, I'm on all social media. I have no problem answering any questions. I'm Mary. Happy Sunday.